Earthlings, how are you doing? So about a week ago, I think it's about a week ago, I tuned into a podcast or a vlog by Tribe Talk, which seems to be a fairly new venture, and it looks really positive. And on this occasion, they were joined by Richard Deboo. I've known Richard for several years, and we've, as it were, shared stages together at things like Dublin Veg Fest, etc. So we've got a couple of his books. That's one of them, which I did notice that Richard is signed. So thank you very much, but it's signed to somebody else. So I obviously stole it. So sorry about that. Anyway, so I asked Richard a couple of questions. I wanted to tease out the issue in the movement that I knew Richard would be tuned into, which was the rise of the right in society in general and, tragically as I put it, in the movement. And then also the issue of the grassroots and the need for the development of that. And so the full interview with Richard is, need my eyes for this, is on YouTube, and you need to look for Thomas Anonymous, which is the title of the YouTube channel, and it's on there, and it was streamed 3 days ago, so it's all there ready to go. Well worth tuning into the entire thing. Richard is an interesting character. Oh, and I want to thank Paul from Galway as well for tuning me into this entire event, which I wasn't aware about until Paul told me. And but Richard is an interesting character. He's always very understated in his dress sense. For everybody who knows him will know. And so anyway, this is Richard's response to my couple of questions. So thanks again, Richard, for addressing them.
I'm going to skip away from the agenda. Roger Yates has asked a question, and would you be happy enough to ask it?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine, of course.
Yeah,
I was trying to get
Roger
it on the screen there a second ago.
Could you see that okay?
How worried are you about the apparent rise of the right in society and tragically in the vegan animal rights movement? And how should we empower the grassroots of the movement and move away from the shallow politics of expensive vegan celebrity activists? There's a lot packed in there.
Yeah, that's an easy one from Roger.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly that. Yeah, he likes to keep it nice and simple, doesn't he? Those kinds of questions. But they are extremely important points, I think, very much so. And I've put up a number. I try to keep my social media space quite positive. I'm a very positive person and all that. I like to share positive energy and things. But sometimes over the last year or so, I have had to put out some really angry, frustrated comments about the rise of the far right and just how that is infiltrating and latching onto issues such as animal rights and using that to draw people in. And before you know it, these people are spouting far right stuff themselves. They just get hooked into this thing. It's classic technique that the far right have been using for decades. And it really does worry me enormously. And I think, what do we do about that? I think that's really challenging, particularly with social media the way it works at the moment, because we are forgetting the kinds of things that Carl Sagan taught us, which is consider who's telling you something, think about what their agenda is, don't just go with everything they say, ask yourself why they're saying things, ask yourself who these people are, find out for yourself if they are telling the truth or not, what are they saying to you, what's behind it. And I think there's and so many people have just forgotten about those kinds of things, and they see a few things come on that they sort of agree with, and this is how the far right work, as we know. And they've been doing the same kind of thing with COVID as well, and the whole pandemic stuff. Is they hook people in by saying a few things that people they know are going to agree with. Oh, big pharma is bad, for example, or big corporations are evil and things like that. And they think, oh yeah, that's right, and then they start saying some of their far right stuff. Oh, corporations are run by the Jews and all this kind of rubbish and stuff like that. So you see how their techniques work. But if people would apply a bit more critical thinking to what they're hearing, then we wouldn't be so susceptible to the fact that these groups are drawing in people in this kind of way. What we have to do, we just have to be really good at our own quality of how we educate people and the quality of what we share, and being clear about when we share stuff, it is evidence-based, it is data-driven. We can stand by it, we can back it up, the information is there, we can stand on absolutely everything we say. And we just have to be really, really good at that. It's an old problem that we've got that Roger alludes to there. But we have, tragically, excuse me, just got to be better than them at this kind of thing. We've got to learn some techniques at being better. And the way we do that is about being sharp. It's about being wise to it. And it's about being genuinely good at what we do, and making sure that we do base what we say on evidence and data. We use the wisdom of all of our experience and our knowledge and what we know to make sure we present it in the right way. And I don't know if I've got time to look at Roger's other part of the question around celebrities and things. Yeah, I think that's a good point as well. And I was going to say, from the question that you were going to ask anyway, I'm not really a big fan of large bureaucratic organizations. And if anybody reads my book, The Meat Delusion, I do put a few paragraphs in there where I rant a bit about the people for the ethical treatment of animals and some of their methods and how they go about a few things. So I'm not a big fan of that, because I think it draws money away from really key areas where people can make a genuine day-by-day difference. The rescues and the sanctuaries, the grassroots activism, the support that people need, where they're making a difference day by day. They're the guys who are getting on, not just doing big stunts or anything, with women disrobing and stuff to try and prove a point about non-human animals. But these are people who are out there day after day after day doing their activism. They're the ones who are going out at 3 o'clock in the morning to rescue a swan or something like that. They're the people who are going out into the fields at 4 o'clock in the morning or staying out all night to make sure the badgers are safe, that kind of thing. They're the people who need our support. And that when those people are doing those things, they're doing it because they're passionate about wanting to do those things, and not because they want to be a celebrity about the whole thing. It's not a me thing. They don't want any, they would like and they need our support and their help. But absolutely that every penny that we support them with goes right back in to that grassroots activism. It doesn't go into helping somebody to fly business class across the planet to go and attend a conference somewhere so they can be seen. And I do have a problem with those who seem to put themselves up front purely for the reason of being seen and being seen to do the right thing. It's kind of like when some of these people go along to bear witness at slaughterhouses and slaughterhouse trucks, and they make sure the camera's on them, standing by and crying their tears up the trucks and things. It's like, well, just focus on what you're there for. And I respect the bearing witness to those who are about to die, and I think it's a profoundly important thing. I just think, well, you just don't need to have pictures taken of yourself standing there. And so I think I would prefer our focus as activists to be on those who are dedicating themselves one way or another, day by day, to doing the things that are making a practical difference.
It's an interesting one for sure.
Thanks for the questions, Roger.
Huh?
I'm just saying thanks for the questions to Roger.
Oh yeah, yep.